Hi, I'm Dr. Douglas Street. I'm a medical doctor, and this video is going to be looking at the interplay between stress and diabetes. Now, these are two very common issues, and we're going to be looking at how they interact with each other. Because just as how we know that stress can affect your diabetes management, diabetes can also cause stress. And I'd want to look at them as an igniting match. Now, diabetes and stress frequently coexist, as we said. And it's important for us to understand that when you reduce your stress, when there are measures that you can take to reduce your stress, you can actually improve your diabetes control. So this is not a simple matter. This is something that you can take steps in improving so that they can both get better. Now, what are some of the reasons why stress can come about from a diabetes diagnosis? There are many persons who are fearful of the complications of diabetes. When you look at the amputations, when you look at the blindness that may occur, the kidney failure, the heart attacks, and so on, these are definitely things that persons tend to fear. Medications that you have to be taking, and oftentimes persons have to be taking even insulin. This can certainly be something that causes persons to feel worried. All of these medications that you're taking, you might be already taking other medications for hypertension and high cholesterol, and be added to this more medications. So this is something that frequently concerns persons. The lifestyle changes that are required. Persons like to do what they like to do, and they don't want anything to come in the way. They may like to have their cake and their ice cream and eating when they feel like. And when they're going to have to make changes, it's going to impact on their ability to enjoy themselves. So they may not be able to interact with their family and friends as in a way that they'd really like to and they'd really want to. And this, of course, can cause some stress as well. And then, of course, when you're diabetic, you have to monitor your blood sugar on a regular basis. And this may involve being stuck. This may involve going to the doctor, going to the lab, and getting all these different tests done because of the complications of diabetes, it's not just the sugar that will need to be controlled. There are other things that will need to be monitored as well. And of course, this may cause some amount of concern in the parts of persons as well. There are the dietary restrictions that are there. You can't eat as much as you want to. And this may not necessarily be in a family setting, but even at home, you are not supposed to eat certain things. And of course, some of the things that you may be asked to give up are things that you might enjoy. So this, of course, can cause some concern. And then there's a cost. There's a cost of medications, there's a cost of doctor visit, cost of monitoring, hospital care, and other allied health related interventions. The cost of these can really add up. And of course, persons may be concerned about those costs as well. And there's the social stigma, being labeled as a diabetic. Nobody really wants to be labeled with these negative names. So these are some of the reasons why a person may feel stressed as a result of being diagnosed with diabetes. Now, what are some of the symptoms of stress? And the stress can be from diabetes diagnosis or anything else. You may feel tense, you may feel anxious, you may feel irritable, you may get angry easily. You may lash out at persons, you may feel depressed as well. You may have headaches. Some persons have what we call tension headaches. That's a headache that comes from the back of the head, feeling like a band around the head. You may be unable to concentrate on your work, on other responsibilities. You may have mood swings, swinging from being depressed to being happy. And of course, when you say swings, I mean this can occur quite suddenly. Tiredness may also result from feeling stressed as well. Being unable to sleep, just feeling tired and weak, feeling sad as well. This is also something that may happen for persons who are experiencing stress. You may experience appetite changes. And these may be an increase in appetite or maybe a reduction. Different persons have different responses. You may start to withdraw from persons. And this may even be your family members or your co-workers. And there is lack of motivation. And this is particularly important in persons with diabetics because, of course, in order for diabetics to really have their blood sugar and have their care really in line to what they're supposed to, motivation is important. So this particular symptom of stress can really be concerning. And then, of course, you can get diabetes from stress or a worsening of your diabetes. What are some of the causes of stress? It may be relationships. It may be relationships with your co-workers, relationship with your neighbors, relationship with your family, and your friends. These relationships, if they are not healthy, then they can put significant stress on persons. Their living conditions. So you may be living under conditions that are not really so healthy. You may live in a noisy environment. You may feel unsafe in your home. Your house may not be in a good condition. It may be leaking the house, different things. Things may be falling apart, physically speaking. And of course, this may turn out to be significant stressor for any individual. If you're not getting proper sleep as well, this can also set you up for feeling stressed. And of course, stress can cause inadequate sleep, and inadequate sleep can cause stress. So again, these two factors can interplay. Traumatic experiences, you having, being attacked, you having some experience in the past which may have been very, very traumatic. This can also be a significant source of stress, and some persons may actually develop post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of these traumatic experiences. Work-related stress as well. You may have deadlines that you might have difficulty meeting. You may have a boss that is not so reasonable. This can be a source of stress. Co-workers may also cause problems as well. Chronic illnesses, especially those that are painful, in arthritis and fibromyalgia, and other painful conditions, this can also be a significant source of stress. If you are angry, constantly angry for whatever reason, this also can put a lot of stress on your body. I know that anger sometimes can even cause a heart attack. So you know that stress can result from a person being very angry. Physical environment, you may be living in an environment which is noisy or working in an environment which is noisy. This can impact on your state of mind as well. And this can, in fact, cause some stress for you. What are some of the effects of stress, especially those that can make your diabetes worse or even cause you to become diabetic in the first place? So stress can affect your hormones, and especially stress hormones like epinephrine and also cortisol especially. These can have certain effects on your body, which in the short run, it may be beneficial to you because those hormones are really usually released in a fight or flight kind of situation. So these may be beneficial. So you may have an increase in your blood sugar production as a result of stress. And this may be because there's a breakdown of some of the glucose storage in the body and releases more glucose into your bloodstream, but also insulin may not really work as well, and even the amount that is produced may be reduced as well. So these, in the short run, they may increase your blood sugar, and that may make blood sugar available to certain organs of the body that may require higher amounts in order to execute that fight or flight response. But of course, if it goes on over a long period of time, then of course it can have a negative impact and in fact predispose you to becoming diabetic. It also can affect your behavior. So you may not really have that motivation to do those things that you need to do. You may not want to eat as you're supposed to eat. As a matter of fact, you may start eating more of those things that may worsen your diabetes. It may also reduce your motivation to exercise. You may not want to take your medications that you're supposed to be taking. You may start using drugs to help you to feel better. You may smoke, you may take other recreational drugs, and of course, you may drink alcohol as well. Of course, these are not really good for a person who is diabetic. So, of course, it may increase your risk of complications. It may even increase your inflammation. And as we'd have discussed before, inflammation is one of the main drivers for diabetes. So you certainly would not want to be increasing your inflammation when you're diabetic because, of course, inflammation would have already been increased by virtue of you being diabetic in the first place. So what are some of the things that you can do to reduce your stress? First of all, of course, you want to look at prevention. As you said, an apple a day keep a doctor away. So you want to look at those things that you can do to reduce your stress level, to prevent it from developing in the first place, or you can prepare your body to deal with stressful situations. So some of the things that you want to do is basically have a healthy diet and lifestyle. When you have a healthy diet and lifestyle, you're less likely to be negatively affected by stress. And of course, we all would have known about exercise, getting proper sleep, as we mentioned before, having a healthy diet, getting your sunshine, getting your fresh air. All of these things are helpful to help modulate the effects of stress on your body and mind. Planning ahead, especially you have projects working on, you want to ensure that you put the necessary things in place to reduce you having to be rushing towards the end. You have an exam coming up, you don't wait until the last minute, so that you have to be up all night studying and so on. You want to plan properly so that you're not don't end up in those kind of situations. And of course, if you can delegate some responsibility, that can also be very helpful. Even in the home situation, this might be very, very helpful so you don't feel overwhelmed by the amount of work that you have to do. And then there are certain situations that you know can be stressful that are avoidable. Sometimes you have to deal with difficult persons, or sometimes we may deal with difficult persons, and sometimes it's possible for you to avoid those kind of interactions. So you have to be smart about these things and pick your battles and just take care of yourself when you're in those situations. Try to avoid multitasking. So this is something that can cause significant stress. You may, for example, you're on the phone and you're talking to a client and you're on the computer as well. You know, this kind of thing can actually cause a lot of stress on your body and can cause issues. So that's the kind of thing you really want to try to avoid. Make sure you also take breaks, right? So you're in a hectic job, you want to, step away from your work desk every now and again, just get a breather, do some relaxation techniques she'll discuss, and so as to get your mind and body back from that being in that stressful situation. You also want to avoid the use of drugs, caffeine, alcohol, and other drugs like smoking and marijuana and so on. You want to avoid those because they don't really reduce your stress. They may trigger the production of chemicals in your body that might make you feel better, but the stress is not gone. It is still there, and you may not respond very well. And of course, some of these drugs can also cause negative effects on your body. So you really don't want to be going down that road. You also want to ensure that you have healthy social connections. When you're able to talk to, your family and friends in an open way, this is certainly something that can help. Going to church as well, having positive interactions, this can also be very helpful. You also want to practice forgiveness and being grateful. Gratitude is something that's really very helpful to help you to manage stress because, of course, it helps you to focus on those positive things in your life. And that can give you a different mindset and help you to reduce your stress level. Helping other persons really is very helpful. It helps to release certain substances that can reduce stress levels in your body. So that is certainly something I want to try. And prayer. Prayer is something that many persons use to help them to reduce stress, acknowledging that there is a superior being and that, of course, this being can help you just being able to talk to God, this is something that helps other persons, and it's certainly something that you want to try if you are so inclined. And then there are some things you can do for relief of the stress. You're in this stressful situation. What are some of the things that you can do? Now, I must mention that some of these techniques we're going to be looking at it in another video. Um, so we're just gonna briefly mention them just for the sake of information here. So relaxation techniques, visual imagery, self-talk, breathing, exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, meditation, and also just drinking some hot beverage. These are things that you can utilize to reduce your stress. There's also mindfulness meditation. And again, we will look at that further in a later video. So make sure you look out for that video. There are DIY projects that you can do. There may be stuff in the house that you can work on, especially if you have those skills. If you have skills in carpentry or plumbing, then that can help. And it helps in both ways because those things might be a source of stress for you. And your ability to address them, it does give you a sense of accomplishment. So you actually address the source of the stress, and the process of doing it also can reduce your stress as well. Stretching can also help. So if you're at work and you're feeling overwhelmed, you can just take a break, do some stretches. You're feeling anxious, you're feeling tense, you can do some stretches and you'll be surprised. Just that process can be very, very helpful to get your body and mind to relax. Even your posture, by sitting up properly, keeping your back straight, and keeping your torso at right angles to your thighs, keeping your legs in at right angles your to your thighs as well. You'll be surprised just by sitting up, holding your head up, it does give you a different feeling because the position of your body does speak to your mind. And when you have a proper posture, it sends positive messages to your brain and can help you to relieve your stress. Very simple process, very, very effective. Also ask for help. And this may help maybe in terms of the work that you're doing, or it may be just to talk. You may need professional help as well. So of course, don't really shy from that. You may need you may need help with anger management. And this is something that, of course, you may need to get professional help with as well. Journaling, making a note of what is happening to you, putting stuff on paper, you'll be surprised. You can practically transfer that negative energy that you're having in your body to people, and that can help you to let go of it. Sometimes by going through the journaling that you've done, it can help you to identify the reasons why certain things are happening. So it can help in more ways than one. Music also is very helpful by listening to music or by making music. Some persons have musical skills, playing the guitar, playing the piano. That can be helpful for you as well. Dancing might be helpful for you. Walking also, just walking in the park or walking in nature, that can also help you. It doesn't even have to be in those places. Just just the act of walking at the workplace, and take a walk up the stairs, take a walk on the building. You'll be surprised that little break that you get can be very, very helpful as well. So in closing, we just want to look at this well-known Bible text taken from Psalms 42, verse 11. So this is the psalmist David speaking. He said, "Why art thou cast down, O my soul? Why art thou disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall yet praise him, the help of my countenance and my God." So when you're feeling overwhelmed, the scriptures is a very rich resource that you can turn to that can help you to manage your stressful situations. You can hope in God, you can put your trust and faith in God, and it can take you through. And when you praise God, it actually lifts your spirits. So don't think that you have to be in a good mood to praise God. When you're in a bad mood, when you're feeling stressed, praising God can actually help to improve on how you're feeling and help you to manage your situation. So these are some tips we want to share with you how you can reduce your stress. So you put them into practice and you can share with me how they are helpful for you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.